Hey everybody, Michael here from OSM Photography, and I just want to say a quick word about this. No, it's not a cool new hair product. It is the awesome new double-sided Lustre photo paper from PermaJet. Firstly, it's a really nice limber paper, okay? So it's really easy to handle, very easy to load in any printer. Now, all the printers I use, the Canon printers load paper, extremely easily. Most modern printers load paper a lot better than they did back in the day, but at the same time, different papers load more smoothly and more easily than other papers. And this is one of those. It's a nice limber feeling paper, okay? It's also got a really, really gorgeous luster finish to it, okay? Now, luster finish is kind of a generic term, but PermaJet describes it as having a very fine micro stipple type surface. But to me, probably from my mineralogy background, back in studying geology, I would describe it as having a kind of a resinous luster, okay? It's not a million miles removed from, say, the finish on some of the high-end Barita type papers. Now, it's not quite that, but it's also not, a cheap and cheerful varnished looking finish either. It's a really, really nice photographic looking luster surface. But it also has that nice kind of, high-end photo book or high-end photo magazine or high-end, commercial print type feel to it also. Now, that makes it awesome for portfolios. I've heard people using things like this for keyring inserts, and I tell you, there is a demand for that type of thing. So if you're a portrait photographer, I can tell you there's a demand for keyring inserts. Because we do some portrait stuff, we do a lot of high-end things, but we like to focus on the fine art prints as the product extension to the shoot. But the amount of people who do ask if we do keyring inserts, and we stay away from that area because we focus more on the large printing. We're not set up for the high volume, lower size reproduction. But if that's your game, and if that's your gig, this is perfect for that, okay? Probably because it's so easy to handle. It's probably slightly easier to handle than, say, Oyster or Portfolio, if I'm going to be honest. If you sell collections of wedding prints, if you sell, sometimes wedding clients, I've done high-end weddings in the past, and wedding clients will often want a book of, say, fine art print type things as well as the storybook or as well as the fine art wedding book, and sometimes they want a print box, etc. And this is a really good alternative because it allows you to print this in an album or in a book and to insert it any way you like. Because did I mention it's double-sided? The double-sided format with no loss of quality on both sides, it's identical on both sides, is really, really, really awesome. Okay, and because it feeds through the printer so easily, as long as your printer is clean and serviced, it will go through without any hitches or glitches or hiccups or any marking or anything. It's a really, really good surface. And it's a really, really good quality paper for that. But yeah, so it's got all those kind of applications to it. Now, me personally, being more of a commercially focused photographer these days anyway, I figured the double-sided luster is perfect for the commercial type prints and the commercial type images. Okay, so I've printed a selection of some of my commercial images because it's awesome for creating your book of prints to show to clients, etc. A lot of things have gone online, and a lot of things have moved to the fact where you can show things on your phone or on your iPad or whatever, and that's all really, really cool. But I think there is nothing like getting face-to-face in front of a potential client or an existing client and handing them something physical. There is nothing like them, being able to feel the print in their hands, because as well as the fact that they're looking at things digitally and they can see the quality of your images, etc., this almost connects them to the external, to the end product. This connects them to a photo campaign in a magazine or a poster or whatever. So it's like they can already see the end result. And some art editors and art directors and companies and people in marketing, they're good at already pre-visualizing that. But because they see so many digital images every day now. Back in the day, it used to be books all the time, but now because portfolios are pretty much universally digital, and they see so many galleries and websites and, you know, PDFs and all this kind of thing, that you want to stand out, actual hard print product is the way to go. Now, I'll show you the application I mean. Now this really slick, swanky, luxurious looking thing here is what's called a Snapshot Folio. Now what that is it's a book cover spine binding, whatever you want to call it, with this really cool liner page, okay? And this is where I think the double-sided Lustre comes into its own. Because it's a really cool paper, it's double-sided, but it's the first one that has, to me, a true, you know, commercial feel to it. And the difference between this and, you know, sending your images off to be printed and bound in a book, well, there are many images, but many differences, sorry. But the big difference between this and sending your images off to be printed in a book elsewhere is that you get full control over the printing. Okay? So, and here's one that I haven't printed the back yet. Okay? So this makes an awesome, really luxurious, high-end portfolio book feel. Okay? And the thing about the Snapshot is you just bend the spine back and all of these pop out inside the little inset. We'll do another video on that at another time, but you can just put pages in and out of this all you like. You can rearrange the pictures as many times as you like, or you can constantly change what's in them. You can use it to store prints. You can use it, like I said, as a fantastic way of being able to go and, you know, demonstrate your work or present your work to potential or existing clients, you know. There are many times I've been in situations where I've been on one particular type of shoot with a client, and they're often surprised to hear you do something else. Like I was doing a marketing campaign for a senior marketing manager in a large 5-star hotel chain, okay? And they were shocked to find out that I actually, you know, also shoot commercial, you know, hotel rooms and accommodation, and being able to have things like this where when you get an opportunity, because often you do, you're having a chat with the client about an upcoming job after you've just finished one job, and having something like this handy is really, really good. Really, really good. Because, you know when you're going to meet a client, you know what other potential work they may be interested in, okay? So there's nothing wrong with having one of these filled with those type of images in the back of the car. I think it's awesome. This one is A3. They come in A4, A3, and A3 Plus. And they come in different colors and finishes, but this is my absolute favorite. I think it's absolutely stunning. So yeah, double-sided Lustre. I think it really fills the gap in the double-sided papers and allows you to make a really good, really commercial level, slick, luxurious, high-end portfolio of double-sided images, okay? If you're making fine art editions, you want to keep them in something like this, that's cool too. The single-sided papers are perfect for that. You make your editions, bind them in this, and away you go. But from the point of view of, yeah, just having that magazine feel and not having a blank white page on the left when they look at the image on the right. Sometimes you want that for the fine art stuff, like I said, to focus on it, but as a collection that looks like a book and feels to a client, not to us, photographers, we love the whole, oh, this single image on one side of a page, etc. It's perfect because it's so fine art, blah, blah, blah. That's fine, but when you're showing stuff to a client, 9 times out of 10, they're more impressed by what they think is difficult to achieve or what they think is less attainable in the amateur world or whatever, and they see things as being more professional if it has that more commercial application kind of feel to it. It's just the background they come from. So in that scenario, the double-sided paper is an absolute win. Absolute win. It's also useful, like I said, for things like keyring inserts. If you work in an office or if you print stuff for companies that work in an office and they've got glass partitions between sections on the floor, because it's double-sided, you can either laminate it or you can frame it with a glass background or whatever, and it can often hang on those glass or transparent partitions. That's another commercial application for it. So there are many applications for this paper. The color, did I mention? It's almost like a given, being a PermaJet paper, and the generic profiles from PermaJet are so good that it's almost a given that the colors are going to be accurate, and they are. They're spot on. The contrast is really, really good. The blacks are, as you can see, rich blacks. Now, obviously, you're looking at it on video here, so it's never going to be quite the same, but the contrast is rich. The whites are detailed, the blacks are detailed, but very, very rich. So you can get a massive range of tones from black all the way up to the bright white of the paper, and it is a fairly bright paper, which again is great for that commercial book kind of look. So that's pretty much that. To summarize, I think double-sided Lustre, like I said, fills a gap in the double-sided range. It's a really, really, really cool paper. It's got a really slick, photographic yet high-end photo book type feel about it. So it's perfect in the SnapShut Folios for a really high-end, impressive, luxurious, slick portfolio. Congratulations, PermaJet. It's something that I'm delighted to see hit the range. It's sharp, it's crisp, it's an excellent paper. It really, truly is an excellent paper. So yeah, it also won't break the bank compared to some of the fine art papers. So if you are printing a lot of stuff for showing and not selling, it's more economical. I'm not being funny, but it's easily up to the standard that you could also use those images in things like competitions or exhibitions if you wanted to as well afterwards. It is that good. So yeah, I'm happy to see it. Awesome paper.